welcome to the Insubordinate Academic Podcast YouTube thingy. Well, what we were normally going to talk about today, we're not going to talk about today, because I think if you're doing a podcast on the insubordinate academic and focusing on higher education, and we usually have a BIPOC angle to what we do, we can't ignore yet another death of a BIPOC faculty member who I think we are assuming that he took his own life, although it has not been, the cause of death has not been stated yet. But of course, we're going to talk about Dr. Jason Arday, professor of education. We actually share the same field of study, which is the sociology of education focus. He did mostly critical race theory work, which I've also done a little bit of that as well. I actually didn't know. I'm ashamed to say I didn't know about Jason's work, but that may be because I've been in my own battles with universities since 2018. Yeah, so I know I kind of have my own slant on this today, and that'll become increasingly evident. And so I'll state it now, which is I am once again, and I shouldn't be shocked. I shouldn't be surprised by this anymore, because I know so many BIPOC faculty who go through this. But once again, I am really quite taken aback by the hypocrisy of academia and administration and individuals, faculty. I'm done. I'm done with this idea of like, oh, systemic racism is about bricks and mortar, and it's about buildings, and it's about chairs, and the physical chairs, not like the title chair. It's never about people who are committing these racist acts. It's never about people who are committing these hateful acts. It's never about people who are complicit, complacent, who allow these things to happen. It's always kind of like, oh, Cambridge, needs to do an investigation on the lawn. Cambridge needs to do an investigation.
It's never tangible, right? It's
on
always
the carpet choices that led up to this. It's never that there are actually people who have done things that are unethical, that are immoral, and it's at this point it's becoming. It was so easy to attack this guy through the media. It was so easy for really like a sniveling little coward to attack him, and for the administration to just openly and warmly accept it. And the media then too, right? Jumping on board, because it's a story when a BIPOC person, especially somebody who's connected with critical race theory and EDI, right? It's particularly
every right wing like news outlet,
and the BBC and the BBC and the Guardian, and the thing that I'm going to harp on is that there are so many white faculty who do horrible things and nothing happens to them because the system protects them, and it's the system that does protect them. And when I say system, I mean white people.
So, the web of people who are in fact the institutions.
And there are some people have put out on Facebook and different social media like a list of white faculty who are undergoing investigations for things like sexual assault, sexual harassment, not just plagiarism, which he was cleared on, by the way. And we don't know about them. The BBC is not reporting on them. The Guardian's not reporting on them.
Interesting.
I'm specifically looking at the so-called left media. They're not reporting on these people. And those are the ones that it's gone to a point where there is an investigation. Because I'm going to harp on the fact that in my experience in higher education, which started in 1995, I've seen a lot of white faculty do things that are pretty egregious, and nothing happens to them. Nothing. In fact, they fail up.
Mhm.
They're promoted. So that's going to be
Or they
my.
retire early.
Mm.
Oh yeah, that's another one. Yeah. That they're given an escape route. That's the other
Yeah.
thing too. So that's I'm going to harp on that. That doesn't mean you guys are going to harp on that. You have your own views. So let's start with Farah Roxanne and your thoughts because she's my daughter. So we're going to
And
start
her
with my
hair was
daughter.
Well, I was gonna suggest. I know we have two different videos that kind of go over the whole story. Did you want me to play one of them?
I mean, you're in charge.
I'm not. I'm...
Yeah, you're the producer.
Is that my face in the middle?
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Well, that's just because you needed like someone, who was like,
I was like, go on. Someone who was what? Oh, God.
who was worthy.
Give me a second.
We're the angry people yelling at the bottom, aren't we?
Oh, those are all students that are afraid of me. That's what that's supposed to be.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
This one's good.
For anyone who doesn't know, here are the plain facts about the events leading up to Jason Arday's death. 2023, an academic, David Harris, raises questions about the authenticity of some of Arday's work. 2025, Jack Grove at Times Higher Education pursues his own investigation, comes up with a 63-page dossier. However, Jason Arday's lawyers intervene and he reluctantly drops the investigation. 2025 to 6, Liverpool John Moores University conduct their own investigation confidentially into accusations that Arday's PhD was plagiarized, and they conclude that his PhD still stands. Here's the key point. June, July 2026, 3 years after Jack Grove at Times Higher Education, Nathan Kofnas, who is a known racist, believes that black people are less intelligent, it's all out there on the internet, publishes a long report on Substack, going after Arday in every way possible, including his personal claims. Now, as a result, late July, early August, Times, Telegraph, Guardian, 189 articles in 8 days. It's a witch hunt. It's bloodthirsty. It's overkill. Unlike what Jack Grove may have been trying to do, there is absolutely no way this can be in the public interest. It's pure malice and cruelty, and it's motivated by Nathan Kofnas' actions. After that, Cambridge opened their own investigation. Arday resigns and then later dies. Those are the plain facts. The key point is that a known racist intervened and caused an unnecessary and malicious and vindictive
I think.
Okay. The one of the things he said, which I'm at a new space, so I don't have anywhere to write it down, was the public interest. Because I'm going to agree that there are aspects, I strongly believe in this, of there is a public interest in what professors do, and I don't even know if Cambridge is actually private or public. I don't know if it kind of does matter a little bit, but like if you're a professor, especially if you're at a public university, there is a public interest, and you should not be like freaking out over anybody, criticizing or questioning you. But then we have to start asking what the motivation is, right? That's the thing.
The extent of it.
Yeah.
Because some criticism is one thing, but like the absolute bombardment, overkill, all of the media that covered him, and this story was extensive.
Well, we know why. We know. Wait, I have an article. Nathan's why he was doing it.
Yeah, we'll get to Nathan in a second.
Oh, you want to wait until?
Oh, look at that! Look at that!
Yeah,
stuff.
because we know his motivation. But
he is the.
This is the superior race.
This is the superior race. Absolutely, yeah. Christine, what are your initial thoughts?
Well, there's so much about this because it makes me angry. Makes me I don't understand how so many on the far right just took this and ran with it, and no one stepped in.
Well, and the left as well. Because you got the Guardian who wrote articles about it. You got BBC. There have been some high profile podcasters who are actually of color as well, who have apologized
Okay.
for carrying it as a story. And again, nobody should be above criticism.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody should be above criticism.
Right.
But
yeah, it's about like the amount that he got compared
Yeah,
to
exactly.
how many, like if it's not leveled, okay, well, why did someone get so much criticism and other people
Exactly.
you
yeah,
write like one article
Overwhelming.
about it and no one cares, right?
and how administration deals with it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, administration at some point you have to wonder, and I know this from personal experience, that when you get attacked, when you're a BIPOC person and you get attacked. Now, in my case, the first time that I was attacked was from a professor from University of Calgary who was literally angry at me because I attended a bogus conference that they were putting on, and I was like, "Well, this conference is bogus,"
And how dare you, really?
and there were other things that dealt with what I would consider to be professional misconduct with students, and I backed up the students not by being aggressive in confronting this professor in any way, but by finding them an out because they were in a toxic space and they provided the evidence that they were in a toxic space. And I was like, okay, I'll help you find it out. Now, my administration at the time were gleeful that they got a complaint about me, even though the complaint was so easy to dismiss and didn't do any of the things that they would do for a white faculty member, which I've seen, which is intervene and say, well, hang on a second. Before we go forward with this, what about blah, 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 blah? Like, I looked this up and what you're saying here is untrue. Do you want to continue? They didn't do any of those things that I've seen them do for white faculty. They were like, yeah, Hail Mary, investigate. Let's bring this Packy down. Let's bring him down. Right? And after I was completely vindicated and the person was found to have acted with uh, malicious and vindictive, whatever words they
Intent?
used.
I don't.
Intent. Yeah, I can't remember. But was like malicious and vindictive. I think it was some kind of legal term. I can't remember anymore. Nothing happened to that faculty member at all. Nothing.
No, they get like a oopsie.
Yeah, nothing
then
happened
that's
to
it.
them. And then the crazy thing is that I was just continuously punished at Bishop's University for it, for being falsely accused. I was punished for it. And then what ends up happening, which is what happened with Jason, even though he was cleared,
Yeah.
and we can talk about this idea of plagiarism that they put forward. Even though he was cleared, what ends up happening is that you become more vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't leave their mind. And they don't act like you're cleared, right?
No.
Once this happens to you, it's still like this
No.
dirty mark on your record that they
Yeah,
can bring back.
and white faculty and the BIPOC faculty that are able to go into those spaces of leadership because they're model BIPOC people who act so ever so thankful that they've been brought into a white space. They just look at it like, oh well, where there's smoke, there's fire. You must have done something,
Hmm.
which is what happened to Jason Arday.
Just
And
guilty,
he could, and,
guilty by
yeah,
existence.
and he knew he couldn't escape. So, Christine, with that, I don't know. Do you have any
Yeah.
other?
Guilty for just existing, like Farah Roxanne just said. It's they found the most vulnerable scapegoat and they just bullied him, you know.
Yeah,
I hate to say
and
it.
prominent. The
Yeah.
other thing too is that he's
He's
a
prominent. Sure.
physically fit,
Yeah.
good-looking guy
Yeah.
who's smart,
Lots of good articles that he
right?
wrote.
Yeah, who's smart, and they went after him,
Well, this is what
right?
angers them, right? I mean, we know in research on academic mobbing, if you're a minority in higher education and you're doing a little too good, that starts getting, the majority privileged people kind of looking at you like, well, why do you think you're so great? Why do you think
Yeah.
you're better than me?
Yeah, absolutely. Dobler, what are your thoughts?
Um, kind of lots of thoughts, but like my kind of main like focus like thought pattern went like straight to like the institutions and kind of what you were talking about when it's like, oh, well, it's the institution, like it's the system, but it's like we have to remember that the systems are made up of the people, not systems are not the buildings that exist, which I think at least my brain used to always be like, oh, that's the system, it's the building, it's the structure.
Mhm.
But it's really exactly what you said, the chairs.
Yeah.
It's the people on the committees, it's the presidents, it's the people in the systems who are continuing the web, who are like continuing the legacy of these institutions
Mhm.
that are really, who are really like exposing like the web and like where it's weak. And they're like, okay, if picture it, if it's a web, and then it's like, okay, we need to add EDI. So they like extend the web a little bit, but like those strings are not very strong.
Mhm.
They're
Yeah.
because it's new, because it's fresh, and because they also don't want it to be strong.
Hmm.
Because one of the things, and I think especially when we think about white supremacy, is that they want they want a Nazi color, first of all, but then they want things to be good and happy-go-lucky, and they're like, oh, we want BIPOC people to exist in institutions. That's important to us. But what they don't understand is that it means that there's less space for white people because that's the rules they've made. They've made there is this elite amount of space
Yeah.
that you have to be so smart to enter, and they never thought that BIPOC people would be smart enough.
And
And
you don't have to
so,
be so smart.
okay,
I really want to be
well,
clear about that.
we have to be so smart.
Some
Yeah,
people
But
have
you're
to be
right,
so,
though.
so smart.
Some people, but
some
then
people
as
do.
soon
But
Yeah.
as there's a
also,
chance
you know,
to rewrite that space, they're
Mhm.
like, oh, of course, like these are my relatives that I've backed up again and again and again, like relatives. But it's like
Yeah.
they're not, people don't realize that like there is space for all people to do well, but it does come at a cost. And it's like, yeah, it's the idiots who are just getting by because they fit the status quo who are not the so smarts. Where it's like there are lots of so smart people
but
who are
also
BIPOC.
you can't
Yeah.
even be so, so smart if you're a BIPOC member or any sort of
Yeah.
minority in higher education because that can also put a target on your back. Like you also kind of have to know your place.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I've mentioned this before. I don't know if I've mentioned this on this podcast or not, or if it was something I mentioned in the insubordinate teacher
The lesser
version,
podcast.
the lesser podcast, which is that idea of being like so smart is I think that kind of like meritocracy myth that they kept on talking about with Jason saying that he didn't merit it. And I think sometimes we tend to think about entering these white spaces, and we think of somebody like Jackie Robinson. And you may just have known the name Jackie Robinson, I don't know, from playing 1980s Trivial Pursuit because it was either Jackie Robinson or Babe Ruth was the answer to every sports question
It's the only
that
game they
That's
got in that
good. I thought he
cottage
was a
in that
sports guy.
Airbnb. That's the only
yeah.
game I got to play.
That's right. Babe Ruth, Jackie Robinson.
uh,
But Jackie Robinson is always held up as a person who broke the race barrier in the United States, and because he was so exceptional, they couldn't ignore him anymore. Because
that's a ridiculous like
yeah, and
height to have
someone
to
was going to
reach.
break. Some like team owner was going to be like, look, I can't ignore it. This guy's so good that if I bring him on my team on like right away has a superstar. And I think that has always been like a dangerous comparison to make. And I much prefer the Canadian version of Willie O'Ree, who was one of the first, if not the first, black player to play in the NHL. And Willie O'Ree said that it wasn't that he was a Jackie Robinson. People kept on saying that he was the Jackie Robinson of the NHL. And he was like, I was not the Jackie Robinson of the NHL. I was not a superstar player. What people didn't understand is that on an NHL team, you've got four lines of three on each team that plays in the game, right? And he said, I wasn't like so amazing that I should have been on the top two, but I knew I was better than the bottom six.
Mhm.
Right.
But I was never going to get, even though I was better than the bottom six players that they had on that team, their privilege of being white was always going to supersede the fact that I was better than them. So you got like this shitload of white faculty who have very little publications,
Hmm.
no research grants, aren't exceptional teachers either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're taking up the space.
Yeah.
I think.
And they won't give it up.
No.
Yeah.
Why would
Yeah.
they? You know?
They won't give it up to
Like-
merit. They won't give it up to merit.
No,
That's the
they'll
thing.
pretend that they got it through merit.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like-
absolutely. Yeah.
But
Yeah, and I think it takes a level of confronting your own ignorance. And so, like, kind of when I was um, a few years ago, there was a vice principal that my friend and I went to talk to because, like, literally the Monday after the news broke of the Kamloops children's graves that were found at the residential school in Kamloops, they played the national anthem at this elementary school. And it wasn't the school that I taught at, it was a different school. And my friend has a kid who's Indigenous, and like he was kind of like, what's going on here? So we went to talk to her, and the what the teacher told us was just like, to me, a level of like blissful ignorance. And she said, when I was a kid, I lived in Alberta, and like there were no Indigenous kids there. Like, I don't know where they were. And I was like, they were in residential school. And she was like, well, we just don't know where they were. And so, like, for people in positions of power in educational institutions who play this idea of where it's like, oh, I believe in all kids, I think every kid has the right opportunity. And then they're making these decisions and being so unwilling to confront their ignorance, where, like, sometimes it's so blatant. Like, and this guy who was kind of like the race realist, like that, like I read that as real racist, and then I was like, no, no, that's not what it says.
Yeah.
But it's like,
Well-
there's enough people to back him up who are
Mm.
unwilling to confront their own ignorance,
Mm.
that, like, it's literally stupidity.
but
But
also,
enough-
why would they
Enough
confront
people are,
their ignorance, right? They're living
Yeah,
a much
there's those
easier
people.
life if they don't confront
They
it.
say that they want EDI.
Can we play? Do you have anything on this? What's the guy's name? Confast? I don't even know what his name is.
Weasel
Nathan
McGee.
Confa.
Confa.
He's gonna bully
Yeah.
people. We're gonna bully him.
Okay.
See, I have this gray art. First off,
Yeah. Who is Nathan Confness?
okay,
The self-styled race realist
Real
at
racist.
center of
Really?
of Jason Arday's plagiarism row. I think he made
So-
a comment. Sorry, go ahead, Roxy.
Oh, I was just gonna say this really great guy described himself as a race realist and has long argued for greater discussion of hereditarianism, the idea that inherited genetics play a major role in shaping traits like intelligence. So, like, you know.
Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now he was suspended from the University of Ghent.
Oh yeah, I mean, like he was saying things that there's how could you
Wait,
not
he-
know what he was saying? And
Oh.
and again,
Yeah,
I
he
don't
wrote,
think-
sorry, one second, but he did write that talent is not distributed equally across groups and claimed that under the meritocratic system, black people would largely disappear from high profile positions outside sport and entertainment. Bro's a real racist. You know, and he's like spouting stuff like this,
He's real
and then you're
racist.
like, oh, I wonder, I guess everything he's saying about this black professor must be true. I guess we should listen to him.
it's insane that he was saying those kinds of things. Personally, again, I don't think he should be terminated from a job if he's saying those kinds of things. I think that there should be, and get this, he won't like that I say this, because I'm using his own words against him,
Right.
or his own thoughts, I should say. There should be a natural order to this, where he has other faculty and other academics who, by the way, that's my German Shepherd barking like a crazy person.
You got a delivery?
Speaking of like
Yeah.
racism, he should have students. He should have professors who are pushing back against his ideas. He doesn't need to be dragged through the mud, but he should be confronted
I mean,
intellectually.
it's hard though. I don't know. If I had to work at a space where there was one of the major professors there were like, I think all women should be subservient and are stupid.
Mhm.
Is that like a safe space for me to go into work?
No, and I feel like that'd be like that guy's an idiot, and then just like move on.
Yeah.
I guess is
But
that the role we should take instead? Just to be like, okay, he's
Well, I
stupid.
don't think maybe I'm an idiot. I don't think destroying a person's life is really something we should be aiming for.
No,
But like, if it gets to the point where he makes a natural decision himself, which is like, maybe academia is not the best place for me because my ideas aren't hitting home.
guys, no one's receptive.
I have
but I also
students.
think it's
Yeah, I have
the
students who are saying
responsibility.
like, "Sir, are you a racist?" And
I'm a real
maybe
racist.
going and doing a like a going to work for what the hell is that nut with the giant eyebrows? Uh,
I don't
what's
know.
Ben Shapiro? Maybe
Oh,
going to work for Ben Shapiro is the best place for me to like spew my shit. Maybe that's the best place for me. But
But isn't the responsibility of like the chair or the president, or it's like if
Exactly.
you're in a position of power within the institution and you see that this professor is not following your code of conduct because like this like whatever he's calling it, like the race theory, like is outdated, it's
you're
disproven.
treating
Like as your
people
job
as
as the
lesser.
boss, it's your job to say, hey, like our ideas aren't really matching and we represent this institution and quite frankly, you're being an idiot.
Yeah.
yeah, it's weird that he is because I think at one point he said that he after he believes in there's going to be a revolution, which it's code for like race
Yeah. Yeah.
revolution that he was
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
that he would be the chair at Harvard of
Yeah.
race
Realist.
eugenics or something.
He sounds
Well, I can't remember
unhinged.
what terminology, but I think basically what he does
Yeah.
is this is
Eugenics.
eugenics,
Yeah.
So then he
and
shouldn't be at a
He's Jewish, and the Nazis loved eugenics. In fact,
bro.
they based all their hate on eugenics, and
It's
and and now he's spewing this shit.
Maybe
Mm.
he was one of those German families that pretended they were Jewish so they didn't die and they weren't held accountable.
You mean the other way around?
yeah, you know when the
No,
German
I mean like
families
after the
pretended they were
fact.
Jewish, so
No, I
that
mean after the
oh
fact
You mean the
when they were
I
like,
don't
"Oh no, 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 we're
oh
fine."
oh.
We're
oh
like,
okay.
"We don't want to go be held on trial."
Guys, the Holocaust is happening. Let's pretend to be the victim real quick.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
people
I hear
did
that.
people not do
I
that.
hear the
People
Nazis have a
left
real
Germany.
like woke DEI program that they're
Guys, we
gonna.
gotta keep some.
I'd like to bring his practice into question.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Sure.
it's and again, it's so unhinged. It's such a
No, but
like
they said
if
he
you,
was doing it for like 3 years, like just attacking him. Like, what a freak.
Right.
That's freak behavior. I don't think that's mentally well. I don't think you should have stayed in a university if you're doing that. That's
Of course not.
obsessive.
And no
and
one
just
did anything about it.
That's the
and
No
there you go,
one
thing.
took
Christine.
him to task.
There
Yeah.
you go, Christine. Somebody in administration would have risked nothing at all
Yeah.
by having a conversation with this guy and just saying, "What is your motive here?
Exactly.
What's your motive? Like, this is not your area of expertise. This guy is in sociology of education. That's not your area of expertise.
Exactly. Right.
Your area of expertise seems to be on saying that there's a hierarchy of races.
Mm, mm,
So, with that in mind, what
Mm-hmm.
is your motivation for this?"
mm,
Yeah,
mm.
it's like bullying 101.
Yeah.
Like,
And
Exactly.
the administrator
Exactly.
would have risked nothing,
Exactly.
nothing
well,
by doing
who
that.
does this guy know? Who is he being protected by? Because like that is
Right.
the only thing that makes sense
Yeah.
to me.
I think you've got what ends up happening, and this is the same thing that happens in schools too, in elementary schools or high schools, is that you have administrators who are going to say, it's not a personal decision.
Oh,
I am acting on behalf of the institution. Well,
Again,
no,
this.
it's
Again,
again, it's a
this.
personal decision. And I know it's a personal decision because I've seen the way white faculty are protected when they've done things that are not really defensible and nothing happens to them. So I know that
That's
that's
true.
not that you can intervene even when it's not morally justified to intervene. Well, I guess they could morally justify it, but I don't want to hurt the person's feelings or I don't want to cause the person damage or something like that. But I've seen these interventions happen firsthand. Why? Why? Like, I'm trying to think. You're an administrator
Mm-hmm.
at Cambridge. You have tons of power.
Mm-hmm.
that you couldn't say to this really, like, just this the faculty person who really has not made any kind of great contributions in any way,
No.
whose ideas are like so backwards that you don't think you had the power to put an end to it and just go like, well, I'm your motivations seem to be quite questionable here.
Well,
So no, I'm not. So I'm not going to go forward with this.
it shows you how little they give a shit. They just don't
Yeah.
care. Like, this is so nothing on their radar.
Or they do care.
A man is dead now,
Or they
and
do care.
oh, I guess. Oh, you mean or they
Or they do
agree?
care.
They agree with the guy.
Yeah, or they like that power. They like to be able to say, I am Cambridge University. You
Yeah.
know, I am Cambridge. I'm its defender. I'm its sword.
But couldn't they
I'm
do
its
that?
shield.
Couldn't they do that to the real racist instead?
Exactly.
So
Well, but then we're going to do something that they don't want to do, which white people get horribly offended by, which is what's your motivation? And again, even if it's a BIPOC person who's in that position of power,
Yeah.
you have to ask yourself, how did that person get into that position?
Mhm.
And it's not because they went there with the idea of I want to rock the boat.
You
'Cause
won't,
you know
you
there's
won't get in if that's your idea.
No,
I
you
mean,
won't get in there, right? So like when they say things, when they use words with EDI about dismantling, decolonizing, they don't mean any of
It's
that
like
kind of
where,
stuff.
when.
It's bullshit.
Like,
They don't mean it. And I want to point out that there is another faculty member in the School of Education at Cambridge who's also under attack, and her name is Farah Ahmed.
Mhm.
And she's under attack because of the same kind of ideas, it's the same ideas of like, we don't like the way she thinks.
interesting.
You know,
Interesting little connection.
she is, as far as we're concerned, she's connected to terrorists. She
So they're just like being
criticizes,
that blatantly
yeah,
racist.
yeah, she criticizes the Western world.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yet
Imagine.
you know, these academics, well, the BIPOC academics are hired. Like it's just y- by DEI standards, we'll hire you, but you need to keep your mouth shut.
Know your
Yes.
place.
Right? That's it. Just
Yeah.
we want to see you.
You
We don't
are
want to
a
hear
token.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Oh, and by the way, Cambridge University is a public university.
Oh, it is a public university. Let's take it up a notch.
Hmm. Hmm.
Question, and sorry for my lack of attention to detail, but the real racist is also at Cambridge.
He was there for a little while. I
Yeah,
think
he
he was
was.
there for a while, if I remember correctly, but he is at a university in Amsterdam now.
In
Okay, okay,
Belgium.
thank you.
Yeah. Is
Sorry
it Belgium
thank you
or
for answering that
Amsterdam?
as a question, even though I didn't pose it as a
Oh,
question very
maybe
well.
Amsterdam. I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
don't.
It's not there, and now he's being suspended
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
as they do an investigation because I'm sure at some point, somebody was like, What does he do research on? What is his area?" You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
and again, if he was doing research in eugenics, and somehow he got hired,
Mm.
and he was doing research in eugenics, um, I mean, feel free to fail.
Yeah, exactly.
As far as I'm concerned. I mean,
Oh no.
feel free to fail. Like if you're doing that, and let's say he got in and he didn't mention his race theories at all,
Yeah.
and then this is how I think academia should function, you know, and you're doing research on something that is not going to get published in any kind of real like academic forum.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get research grants. I
Mhm.
mean, unless it's from like,
Well, Fox News, like where are you
yeah,
getting
no,
that?
I don't know, like, I don't know, yeah, like Donald Trump's new trust or something like
Yo.
that. I mean, okay, you're probably going to find funding, but like,
Actually, there's a lot of money out there for this.
but there's supposed to be like these standards where after a while, if you're like, yeah, no, I'm not really publishing. I'm,
I found nothing.
doing, yeah, no one wants to publish my works on eugenics.
No shit.
And then you don't get promoted, you don't get tenure, you don't get this. There should be a merit-based system,
Mm.
Mhm.
but it's hypocritical.
Yeah.
it doesn't exist is the problem. So
It's hypocritical. It's absolutely hypocritical.
Yeah.
So, these people, will get tenure, they will get promotion unless something, this just, it really, really, look, I know I've gone through the same kind of depression and everything like that. I know other BIPOC faculty who have dealt with these kinds of things where people don't recognize that to get in was a huge struggle, and it wasn't what you pretend it is, which is that, like, first of all, I wasn't hired under any DEI initiative. That's the first thing. Okay. I never experienced at any university retainment, for recruitment and retainment. I never ever experienced any kind of retainment. In fact, I experienced the opposite. Um, and people don't want to recognize that to be Black, Indigenous, or a person of color, and to not just jump through hoops, but like work through the barriers that white people don't have, really means that you getting that position was a lot more difficult than a white person getting the position.
And then
Exactly.
within that position, you're upheld to a different standard, and basically you're
Exactly.
hung out to dry constantly
Constantly.
because either you're not towing the line and you're a troublemaker, you're insubordinate, if you will.
Mm.
But or like you're not fulfilling their ideal of who you should be. You're not embracing your tokenism.
Yes.
Like I think that's a huge part of it. And as soon
Mhm.
as you're not acting in the way that they expected you to act based on their expectations of BIPOC people,
Hmm.
like you're not fulfilling their stereotypes, they're being surprised by how well you speak and
Mhm.
surprised by how thoughtful your articles are,
Mhm.
and they're feeling threatened because of like you're getting there on your brilliance
Oh, they don't read
and
your
they're feeling
articles.
threatened. Wow.
They don't read your work.
Well,
Dobler.
I'm sure some of them would,
No.
but it's like and if you're not fulfilling your expectation of them,
Yeah.
their expectation of you rather, then you're a threat.
Mhm.
They don't even recognize your expertise.
No.
So why would they read your work? Because most of the time, BIPOC faculty, if they're saying things that they don't want to hear, they're not going to recognize your expertise, let alone, read your work. So if I kind of switch to what Farah Ahmed is going through, and that the articles have been saying that, basically she's anti-Western, anti-England, anti-UK, or whatever it is. And you think, well, there's a lot of people in academia who make their careers on being anti-Middle Eastern.
No, no.
You know,
Yeah.
When you're from that culture, it's being anti-Western.
yeah,
But when you're not from that culture, you're a brilliant ally
yeah,
when you're doing
yeah,
the same
yeah,
work.
yeah. So yeah,
That
there's so much that needs to be said. I think that Christine remembers that in 2020 she and I and MA Avalanto started talking about how getting rid of a BIPOC faculty member didn't require genius, that there seems to be like a playbook
hmm
on how to do it. And we actually posted it on our BIPOC AC webpage, where we said we're going to put together a mock playbook, which I've been working on slowly, which is how do you get rid of a BIPOC person? Like, what are the things that you do to basically destroy them? And Jason Arday wrote about it, I think it was 2 years ago. And he started writing about the playbook that gets used against BIPOC people. So we know it exists.
Yeah.
We know that it's so easy to get rid of a BIPOC person. There's just certain things you need to manufacture.
No,
I'd
any
also like to acknowledge, oh, go ahead, Alex.
no, it's okay. I was just gonna say that it needs to
no,
be called out. It
I
needs to be so
Yeah.
yeah.
visible so that when these same things start happening again, it's so much easier to call them out and go, like, we know what you're doing. Look, you're doing step 2. Oh, you're gonna do step 3. Like, this is so. And I think for people too who are going through it, you can feel so isolated and alone and crazy because they're gaslighting you the whole time.
Yeah,
And so you're
exactly.
thinking like, am I a monster? Did I do something wrong? Like but then if you see, oh, here's a playbook, you're not alone. This happens all the time.
Mhm.
It can help with this horrible feeling of being gaslit the entire time.
How
Yeah, you
satisfying
Yeah.
would
feel
that be to
alone.
like pull up the playbook and be like, is this your next step? And
Oh,
then
what's
what?
next?
But unfortunately, Dobler, they don't care if you point it out to them. It's only if, and this is the part that they consider to be a threat. They consider it to be violence if you point out what white faculty are doing.
100%.
They
Oh,
consider it a
100%.
violent
They
act.
consider everything BIPOC people do
Yeah,
as violent.
accountability
It's like,
to, yeah, it's like
Violence.
accountability. No,
Violence.
no, that's violence towards me. And
Yeah.
you've changed your tone. And that's basically punching me in the face.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, punching you in the face is punching you in the
is
face.
this? Look at this. Then you,
Yeah, it's everything has been turned around. It's funny because for the longest time you had right wing people talking about snowflakes,
Mhm.
right? And yet the biggest
bro. I
snowflakes
mean,
are like neoliberals and right wing nuts.
Mhm.
They're the biggest snowflakes that
they
exist.
need
You say,
everything to be about
yeah,
them.
anything you say to them, even if you call a racist, they're
Mhm.
like, "How dare you? That's the most hurtful thing you can possibly say to me."
Yeah.
So,
I'm not.
no,
I'm
I know
serious.
it. Like it's just so stupid. Like you're correct, but it's so comical. Like how dumb it is, but it works, and that's what's annoying
Well, and
too.
that's the thing that I was struggling to say to you is that I know from talking to other people, from what I've experienced myself, that you feel so gaslit that you wonder, okay, how am I going to get this message out? And is my death the only thing that's going to do it? But killing myself, is that going to force people to have to examine this
Mhm.
like I'm a human being,
That's
Mhm.
sick.
No.
It's just sick.
right?
And no,
Because
because then it becomes like, oh, that's so bad. That's so sad for them.
mhm.
And then, but it's not like, yeah,
Oh, it won't do anything. I mean,
yeah.
unfortunately for where did the subject for Jason Arday start to move to, which is like, well, we have to examine how people are hired, what EDI policies do. He had mental health issues. Why didn't they find out that he had like, and again, the saying that he had mental health issues
No,
is
no,
no white faculty that I know of would be able to endure what BIPOC faculty
exactly,
have to go through.
exactly.
They would never be able to endure it, ever,
Mhm.
ever.
Mhm.
How do I know? Because I know that like the rare times I've seen white faculty just questioned
Mhm.
Hmm.
because there's a public responsibility and duty to question them, they crumble.
They
Now,
lose.
whether they actually crumble or not, I don't know. I don't know if it's genuine, but
Yeah,
that's the message that they give out, which is, "Oh my God, I'm so devastated. I can't believe that you would dare to say this. This is an assault. This is an assault on me."
Mhm.
They would never be able to endure what
Mhm.
BIPOC people go through, ever, ever. And that's why this eugenicist guy, whatever his area of study is, that guy would not survive a second
Mhm.
in an environment where he had to actually fight
Yeah.
Prove himself.
mentally,
Yeah.
Yeah.
mentally, socially. He would not last a second.
I mean, that's why he goes into eugenics. It's safe for him. He just gets to say he's the master race and not prove
He
anything.
actually has a long history of ancestors who were very resilient. No, I'm just kidding.
That's great. And had no lips.
No.
And
I
I
was
mean,
trying to
again,
make a joke. You're not.
I really wish that the likes of this guy, and I do think he's Jewish, and the Ben Shapiro's who like spew this kind of stuff. Like I don't know how Alexa can't even help me with that. That's how big the problem is. Like I don't know how, like, what is missing in them that they can't connect their own religious history to what they're
Mhm.
saying right now is,
Well, it's
Because they
it's it's
probably,
willful ignorance too, right?
yeah,
Willful ignorance,
yeah.
right?
can you go further on that, Christine?
Well, they don't see it. They don't want to see it because it's, you know, that'll be problematic in their argument that, they're the master race. They're supreme. They always will be, So whatever's on the side in terms of, oh well, we're not going to talk about that. Um, it's a house of cards for them. It can't, that house of cards got to keep, you know,
Hmm.
it has to be strong, and oh no, that's not important. That's willful ignorance,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that there are faulty roots to this, right? That not everything stands up to scrutiny,
Hmm.
but oh, we're not going to talk about that because that's not on the table, right? So
You
that's
know,
how white supremacy, you know, that's how it's perpetuated. That's how it becomes strong because there are other people in the background that are not as smart, but they're the ones that are holding these seemingly smart people up, saying, "Yeah, yeah, we are the smarter race. Yeah, we are the master race." So, and for BIPOC people, we don't have necessarily those people holding us up, right?
Mm-hmm.
hmm
Because they're just as they're
vulnerable,
just what's that?
Mm-hmm.
vulnerable.
Yeah, vulnerable, exactly,
Yeah.
right? So
And
yeah.
I think it's a shared, like a difference of perspective. Because, like, even the way where you're just talking about, like, people wanting to be the master race, to
Of
me, that's like, ugh.
Yeah.
But to some
course.
people, that is something that is valuable to them. Like, they see that as something good.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
let me tell you a story about a one nice white person
The one
who
person
I
is,
really think is a good example of what white people could be.
have you met my
I thought you were
wife?
looking up at mom. You could talk about
I thought you'd
me.
bring in my wife. I wouldn't use her as an example. By the way,
Oh, my
she doesn't
mother.
Oh,
like
it could be mine.
she
I'll claim
doesn't
her.
like
No,
she
just
doesn't
kidding.
like our podcast because she says that we're the butt of too many jokes and nobody even knows who she is. So I was like, it's better that way. It's just better that she's the mysterious white wife.
The
Uh,
mysterious white wife.
but
That's your Helen Custer
we
picture.
could have been talking
Cryptid.
today about the death of Ward Churchill.
Hmm.
And for those who don't know who Ward Churchill is, he was the professor who was at University of Colorado, who had worked with AIM, the American Indian Movement, for a long time. He was a this is this in itself is contested. He self-described as being indigenous. That came under attack as soon as he started saying things that bothered people in power in the American Empire. And he was the one that after 9/11 wrote an article about how the chickens came home to roost,
Mm.
which is taking from what Malcolm X said when John F. Kennedy was assassinated. Like basically, if you live a life of violence, then violence is going to come back on you,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That caused so much outrage that Ward Churchill, wrote an article saying like, United States is created in violence. Its entire history has been violence.
Yes.
So why are you acting shocked when violence comes back on you,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And University of Colorado did everything to get him fired,
Hmm.
even though they knew that it was going to be really difficult, just given not academic freedom, but freedom of speech that they have in United States.
Hmm.
So what they did is instead of firing him for something that they didn't like that he said, and this guy was a prolific writer, a prolific writer. Instead, what they did is they went through all of his work, his entire
Oh
body of
my
work,
god.
to find errors
It's obsessive. That's
in citations.
psychotic.
And citations.
Yeah, and so some of the things that they found errors in was that he had said things like American troops killed indigenous people by using chemical warfare by giving them blankets that
Mm,
had smallpox.
mhm,
And they were like, "Well, where's your source for that?
mhm,
How do you know that's true?" Right? It's that
Oh, shut up.
kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Um, so here's where the good white person comes in. I was talking, this was around 2000 and I think 2007 or something like that. And I was talking to the VP of Bishop's University at the time, and it was a guy named Jonathan Rittenhouse who was a professor of drama, I think.
yeah, drama.
And he was honestly probably, I don't know, top two favorite administrators I ever had because he would actually talk to me.
The bar
Actually,
is so
he
low.
would actually pop into my office and go like, "Hey, did you get a book contract? I heard about that.
Oh,
Way to
that's actually
go!"
really
Or
nice.
like, or like, "Hey, great
Yeah,
job
he's
on
a
the
good guy.
review." Blah blah. He would come in
Oh.
and talk to me, which no other administrator except for one other one who was a black woman would ever do. Right. Um. Anyway, we were just talking, and I said to him, "Did you hear about Ward Churchill?" And he said, kind of, fill me in on what's going on. And I told him what they were going after him for. And he paused and he said, "There is not a single faculty member that would be able to endure that kind of scrutiny.
Exactly.
You're going to
Mm,
find something on
mm-hmm,
somebody."
mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's what they did to him.
No matter how flimsy that something is,
Yeah.
They're gonna use it.
You're going to
doesn't
find
matter.
something.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
you're going to find something. It's getting more and more like
yeah.
it was already problematic, back in my days when when I wrote my master's thesis and my doctoral dissertation, it wasn't with the internet. The internet didn't exist. You were going to
Right.
libraries, you were handwriting things.
Mhm,
They were
mhm.
late at night.
Candlelit.
I remember sometimes looking at my notes and going
Scroll.
like,
Feathered
looking at
pen.
something like looking at like a couple sentences and going like, well, this seems brilliant. I didn't come up with that idea. Where the hell did that come from? Like, and you're
Mhm.
like, I can't use that because I don't even remember,
That's it.
where that came from. Did I write it down in a book
Yeah,
that I had on a desk
Mm.
along with 20 other books kind of
yeah.
thing?
Where did I get this? Yeah, because
And now it's become like with the internet, you'd think, oh, it becomes easier, but
Mhm,
in a way that, that kind of, especially when you're doing your doctoral, dissertation or your master's thesis, as all of being academics, um, everything is a blur.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Everything is a blur.
Citation. It came to me in a dream.
No, literally. Like, I think this was a prophecy I foretold, so I'm gonna put this in.
It's true though.
Yeah, and so I heard some academic saying like, I wouldn't be offended if somebody quoted me and they didn't realize or somehow they forgot. I wouldn't consider it plagiarism right
of course
away.
not.
I would think like,
It's an
oh, you forgot
oversight, if anything. It's
Yeah.
an oversight,
yeah,
and
Yeah.
then you
that
correct it.
what I wrote was so meaningful to you, you put it in. And one person even made the comparison to what it was like in the old days and when universities were really set up around trades.
Hmm,
Mm.
hmm.
Trades of
It
like,
was community.
like
Mm-hmm.
sculpture and painting.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And if you started to do a painting like your master,
Hmm,
who had shown you to do, they
hmm.
wouldn't turn around and go like, "Hey, what are you doing? Copying me? That's a plagiarism." They'd be like,
Yeah,
"Oh, great, you're doing it like I
yeah,
showed you. This is
exactly.
the right way to paint hands. This is the right way to
Yeah.
sculpture a head."
Yeah.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, I don't know. I like to think of
It's
oldie time master artists like they're all Super Mario.
No, well, I like how when they were angry, they were Super Mario, but when they were cool and normal, they weren't Italian anymore. So, do you want to discuss
Wait,
that, or
I didn't do any other imitations today. I've kept my imitation
no?
standard
But it's like
minimum.
on. Yeah.
I
And
think
the
Well,
Italians love when
I think we
imitate
gotta
them.
shut down
I
this
have lots
episode.
of
I think we gotta
messages.
shut down. We gotta wrap it
Keep
up.
up the Italian.
oh my God. I would like to bring up just one thing that I don't want to miss. I think a part of this, and I think it's like the intersectionality of neurodivergency, and I don't know that like that's our expertise on this podcast, but I think that that has definitely played a role in how they have like how they were really coming for Jason Arday.
Yeah.
They were like, not only is he BIPOC, but he's also neurodivergent. And
Hmm.
how could anybody who's neurodivergent be this successful in academia, which is
And
absolute
I think they
buffoonery.
diminished that and they called bullshit on it. They said that he wasn't. So they're even
Yeah.
taking
Yeah.
away from
Yeah.
They,
every aspect of his
Yeah.
life.
Some places they're saying it, some places they're saying they aren't. I think a lot of
Yeah,
BIPOC people, when it comes to like mental health, I mean, they're treated so differently than a white person with mental health, and we've seen that
absolutely.
over and over
Oh,
and over again.
yeah.
absolutely. I mean, again, and that part of that
And like,
is based on the idea that if you're BIPOC, you should naturally be able to have resiliency
Yeah,
and endure
yeah,
more.
yeah,
yeah. Well, and like, and to be really like critically attacked for like your multiple points of your intersectionality, like that is like I don't know what the word is. It makes it really, really like I don't know. I think impossible almost to imagine. Well,
Hmm.
not impossible to imagine because that happens. It happens to people,
Mm.
but like I think it's another layer of like beyond this conversation of um, like being BIPOC and academic. It's like another layer of complexity that like breaks your heart even more. Well, I don't know, just continues into the stupidity of people attacking Jason Arday and then the outcome of him ceasing to live anymore.
And there's a lot of others before him,
Yeah,
Of course.
right?
yeah,
And there's going to be more.
Yeah.
yeah.
There's going to be more because it's not going to end with Jason Arday.
No.
It's going to continue, and um, not everybody
Until
has the
people
same
start
support
bucking up
system.
and like holding the people within the institutions accountable.
Accountable. Exactly.
They're not going to.
No.
There's not going to be a Cambridge investigation of like who are the people that took the complaints? What
Yeah.
did you do?
Yeah.
They're going to, and I know this because I've experienced it, and it's going to be, we did everything right.
Yeah.
And any
Yeah,
investigation that we do is going to lead to we did everything right.
yeah.
Mm.
And
The institution
it's just
acknowledges your
unfortunate for
experience.
you
mm-hmm.
that you're being falsely accused.
Yeah.
And again, I can't express to you how often I've seen white people in academia do things that are just completely covered up.
Yeah.
It's I don't know how many times I've had to say like, hey, look, what this person did to me
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
is really unethical. And they'll say to me like, well, just let it go.
Yeah.
Just let it go, you know? And okay. They're like they've learned their lesson. No, they haven't.
Like how? Like literally how?
No, no, the
They
lesson is I
still,
can do this and nothing
Yeah,
happens
they
to me.
learned their
you
lesson.
can't.
Feel like,
They can.
Oh.
hmm.
Well, I there's a lot to say. I mean, it's absolutely tragic. He's
Yeah.
a father, a husband, a son.
Yeah.
It's and that he thought this was the only way,
Mhm.
the best way forward for everybody. I
Well,
mean,
I just hope that his widow or his family they bring a civil suit if they can't do it through the criminal court because this was criminal. His death was criminal.
yeah,
That's my opinion.
yeah,
They have to,
Mm.
yeah.
I hope so. I hope
It's
they.
funny, Christine, because racism, and of course the UK, he's in the UK, Canada, so we have a similar system.
Mm.
Racism is actually a criminal act, but when it happens in the workplace, it gets
Mm.
stuck in civil,
That's correct.
and that again allows white people to protect themselves through the whole idea of like you're representing an institution. You are, you know, the corporate entity is an entity to itself. So you don't attack me. I was acting in my title.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's the title that did it, not me. You know, so they get away with that. They get away with racism because it's kept there. It's kept to that idea of like, well, it's a civil matter. It's in the workplace. So nothing changes. Nothing changes. But we're going to try and change things.
We got to keep pushing.
We're going to keep pushing. You know. Well, I apologize. This was me gabbing a lot. I'm sure if we do like a
no, this was really good.
Or if we fought our way in there.
If we fought our way, if we do a what? A review.
We do a review of who spoke more.
We do a podcast about this specific website.
Yeah, but let's not invite him though, and we'll just like talk about him the whole time and be like, oh my
we'll just mute the
God,
space.
he doesn't
I mean,
stop
that
talking.
would be cool if you just said good things about me the entire time. I wouldn't mind that.
We already had last episode where you were like, guys, am I a narcissist? Tell me I'm not.
So go check that episode out.
Yeah, we tell him about how much he's a narcissist.
Guys, am I the most feminine of all the people here on the podcast?
Feminine. So you're not a feminist, you're just feminine.
Would you agree that I am?
Agree.
Guys, am I beautiful? Am I the most beautiful on the podcast?
By
the way, for young BIPOC faculty who are like starting,
is this another don't trust anybody?
No, I'm
We're
gonna
bored
say
of that.
like no matter where I've been in the world, the ability to laugh at yourself and to poke fun at yourself before other people poke fun at you for doing something they should justifiably poke fun at you.
Humor
Is
key to
the,
success.
Yeah, it's the best way to navigate.
Yeah, I mean,
like, you know, have a sense of humor about yourself, poke fun at yourself, you know, no matter where I've gone in this world, no matter what culture, if you have the ability to do that, you know, it's...
I would argue that every culture outside of white supremacy, like, humor is foundational. And you get
like humor reflected at yourself too is the thing. Because
I
find white supremacists, like right wing, all those people, they're so
funny at all.
bad. They're so bad at humor because it can never be about them. Like it's always picking on other people constantly. So it's like, okay, so you're just a bully.
All their humor is
punch down
all the time.
If you have no self-reflection, no humility whatsoever, you're not funny. Sorry, like it's just.
But if you do want to have a podcast just completely dedicated to, you know, saying what an amazing person I am, I'm okay with that.
His slides smell $5.
Oh, she'd get bored. She'd get bored of one episode in. There's no way. He would say something and she'd be like, I'm done.
All right. Well, listen, rest in peace, Jason Arday. I'm a believer in God, so I really hope that there is a perfect space for you right now where, you know.
And you get supernatural powers. They could come back and fight with us.
And there's that.
Why? Why is he fighting with us?
No, not fight with us. Fight with us.
Oh,
yeah,
right. With us, like a team.
Oh.
Yeah, like you're hoping for a good haunting to happen or something like that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I gotta haunt people when I'm out of here.
All right. That's it for this podcast. Love you all. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. Boing, boing, boing. Boing, 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 boing.